Hi everyone, Miss Michelle here, and I'm going to create a practice video to help you with a new song, Starfish at Night. So students and parents, if you could take out your RCM Prep Book B, and if you can turn to, in the version that I have, it is page 11. So if you can turn to page 11, I'm going to start to go over some of the key points that we talked about in music class, and then I'll do a demo, which I encourage you to use with your practices. So having Miss Michelle on your devices and practicing along with her, especially when you're just starting out this new song. So I'm just going to switch videos right now, or switch views to teach that to you. Okay. So right now, first things first, some of the things we talked about in class were some key things to draw your attention to. So students, you'll want to have a highlighter and a pencil handy in case you missed anything that was taught in music class. So the first thing we did in class is we identified all of the clefs. In this song, there are changing clefs and hand position keyboard geography issues that we want to bring our attention to. So students, if you want to check if you found them all, I'm going to count them as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 different clefs. If you found them all, that's great. The next thing that I addressed is for this kind of a song, you actually need a full 88 key keyboard. So I'm just going to zoom out to show that. For those of you that may be working on a smaller keyboard, you won't actually have all the keys that you need for this song, and some modifications will be needed accordingly. So what I would like you to write down on your page, I'll talk about the opening and closing hand positions. And students, if you notice at the very beginning, there's an 8VA symbol and a bracket. So I want you to highlight that. And similarly, if you look at the very end of the song, we have an 8VA and a bracket at the end as well. And what I want you to write on your page is this is going to be the lowest C on your piano. When I'm done going through the talking points, I'll give some keyboard geography pointers. But that might be a helpful thing to write to start out, the lowest C that you have on your piano. And again, at the end, you're starting and ending your song in the exact same place there. The next thing we identified is this new idea of a glissando, and that's what the squiggly line is that you see there. And you might notice that the glissando in the right hand starts on a C sharp. So students, what I want you to do with me is I want you to make this kind of a motion with your right hand, kind of like finger 1 and finger 3 coming together, kind of like an OK symbol. And I want you to turn your hand around like that. We're going to use the pad of our thumb to drag our fingers across the black keys for this glissando. So what that's going to look like is I'm going to start on middle C sharp, and I'm going to drag my thumb across the black keys. And in this case, I'm going to do the exact same thing again. So that's the opening position for the right hand. All right, the next thing we talked about in class is we have a lot of stepping up patterns. And the stepping up patterns happen to be on the black keys. So students, what might be helpful is, for example, in cage 6, you might want to circle that and write SPU. In MYC, we call these the fire halls. And then we have the same thing again, SPU, but we do that one 8 notes higher. So instead of middle F sharp, we're moving up to high F sharp. And for example, we have another stepping up pattern in cage 10 and another one in cage 12. Students, you might notice that these ones are exactly the same and these ones are exactly the same. So that might be something you want to write in or circle for yourself as well. In cage 5, we notice that our Mr. bass clef hand, or our left hand, is actually reading in the treble clef. So in cage 5, it might be helpful to write on your score, left hand starts with finger 1 on E above middle C. So that might be a good kind of keyboard geography pointer for you to be aware of. Next, if you read ahead to the next melody that we have there, these are the exact same patterns, but this one is 8 notes higher. So this is going to be high E above middle C. So 2 E's above middle C. You're going to move your left hand, and you'll see that when I do the demo after I explain it. Okay, next. For this song, if you look at, for the homework assignment this week, we're only going up to page 10 for the first week, but I am going to explain the rest of the song because eventually we will finish the rest of the song as well. And students, if you look at the area from here, so Miss Michelle is pointing to page 13. If you look at this area all the way to there, so page 13, 14, and 15, what you're going to see from the demo is hands crossing over. And the way we can understand that is everything we're going to play with the right hand we see on the top staff, and everything we're going to play with the left hand we see on the bottom staff. So you'll see what that looks like when I do the demo there. But maybe you want to write on the score, hands do cross over. That might be helpful to understand there. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the pedal eventually, which I'm not going to demo in this video because that's kind of like the sparklers on top of the ice, the birthday cake. That's not until the very end. So I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but we will learn about that in music class as well. Okay, other than that, I believe I've covered the key points. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to demo this slowly. How I recommend you engage with the practice video that I've created, especially in practice 1 or practice 2, is maybe having your piano turned off and maybe playing silently on the keys or playing on your lap, getting the feeling of when does my left hand play, when does my right hand play. Another thing that could be helpful with a challenging song like this is playing on a tabletop. So you're taking the emphasis off of the keys so that you get the feeling of which hand is playing where. And like a lot of things we talk about in music class as well, when we're beginning a new song, you can work on the right hand by itself and you can work on the left hand by itself until you're ready to put them together. So a lot of building blocks of understanding here. The last thing I'll point your attention to is if you turn to the back of the textbook, you should see a website and a code, or you could Google this to check out another video on YouTube, maybe to see another version of the finished product. But that's going to be like a professional recording. Miss Michelle is going to be demoing a practice video, so they're a little bit different where I'm talking through some of the things to be thinking about. All right, let's dive in. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see my full keyboard here. And as I mentioned, the very first note that we're going to play is the lowest C on my piano. So this is middle C on my piano here. And what's the lowest C on my piano over here? And I'm going to say the rhythm names throughout, the TTs, the TAs, and the turtle bugs. So that's my opening position for my left hand. For my right hand, I'm going to make that OK symbol with finger 1 and finger 3. And I'm going to turn my hand over, so I'm using the pad of my thumb to drag my fingers across the key for the glissando like this. So there's my opening hand position. You can see how far apart my hands are to begin. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Turtle bug, turtle bug. Now the right hand. Turtle bug, turtle bug. In cage 5, my left hand and my right hand are going to be much closer together now. Now they're in the middle of the piano. And I'm going to continue with cage 5. Ta, 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 ti, ti, half note. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but both hands are going to move 8 notes higher into the treble clef. Ta, 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 ti, ti, half note. Go back to loco or where you just started from. Ta, 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 ti, ti, half note. Both hands are going to go 8 VA or 8 notes higher. Ta, 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 ti, ti, half note. Here's the hands crossing over part. So my hands are starting in the treble clef, and I'm going to start with the right hand. Right hand, left hand, right hand crosses over, right hand, left hand, right hand crosses over, right hand, left hand, right hand crosses over, turtle, bug. Now I'm going to uncross my hands and I'm going to go back to that original glissando position. Turtle, bug. And now I'm going to end with the lowest C on the piano. Turtle, bug. Turtle, bug. Pause. And that's it. All right. Well, I hope you have found this practice video helpful, and I encourage you to use it on a regular basis, especially when you're just starting this new song. Happy practicing, everyone. See you next time.